Shocking opening the lie you've been told. You've been sold a lie. A lie so deeply ingrained in your mind that you've accepted it as truth. Who told you that you're average? Who whispered in your ear that others are better, smarter, more talented, more deserving than you? I'm here to shatter that illusion with a truth so powerful it will shake the foundations of your self-doubt. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, Psalm 139:9-1-4. That's not just a nice sentiment. It's a divine declaration. You were crafted by the hands of God Himself, designed with purpose, precision, and power. So why do you keep acting like you're second best? Who benefits from your hesitation, your shrinking, your willingness to settle for less than you were created for? Let me ask you this. When did you start believing the world's narrative over God's? Genesis 1:27 doesn't say, "Let us make mankind in the image of the mediocre." No, it says, "So God created mankind in His own image." His image. Not the image of your doubts, your fears, or the people who told you to stay small. You carry the now of divinity. Every breath you take is proof that you were meant for greatness, not groveling. Yet here you are, still questioning, still hesitating, still letting the voices of insecurity drown out the roar of your God-given potential. Think about it. Who told you to dim your light so others could shine brighter? Who convinced you that playing it safe was smarter than stepping into your destiny? The world thrives on your self-doubt. It profits from your hesitation. But I refuse to let you stay trapped in that mindset any longer. You were not created to blend in. You were not designed to doubt. You were called to conquer, to create, to rise so high that your shadow inspires others to chase their own greatness. This isn't just motivational fluff. This is biblical truth. Ephesians 2:10 says you are God's masterpiece, created to do good works He prepared in advance for you. That means your purpose isn't an accident. It's an assignment. So why are you still acting like you're waiting for permission to be great? The only approval you need has already been stamped on your soul by the one who formed you. Now, let's get practical. If you truly believed, no. If you truly knew that you were the best version of yourself God designed, how would you act differently? Would you walk into rooms with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in the unshakable confidence of your identity? Would you stop apologizing for your dreams and start pursuing them with fire? Would you finally silence the voice that says, "You're not enough," and replace it with the truth, "I am more than enough because God says I am"? This is your wake-up call. The lie ends today. You are not competing with anyone else because no one else can fulfill your purpose. No one else has your gifts, your story, your divine blueprint. So act like it. Act as if you are the best, not because you're better than others, but because you refuse to insult your Creator by settling for less than He destined for you. The world needs your light. Stop hiding it. Stop doubting it. Step into it now. Biblical blueprint kings and queens don't beg for scraps. Let me hit you with a truth bomb that will change everything. Kings and queens don't beg for scraps. They don't cower in corners waiting for someone to hand them permission to be great. They rise, they rule, and they refuse to settle for anything less than what they were born for. And guess what? That's you. You are royalty. You are a giant slayer. You are a destiny fulfiller. But somewhere along the way you forgot. You started acting like a peasant when God crowned you a king. You started whispering when you were born to roar. Well, today we're taking back your throne. When royal identity won, Peter 2:9 doesn't say, "You're kind of special if you squint." It thunders, "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood." Let that sink in. Royalty. Not by your merit, but by His mercy. Not by your effort, but by his election. You don't earn this. You own it. The bloodline of Christ runs through your veins. So why are you still acting like a beggar? When a lion cub is raised by sheep, it learns to bleat instead of roar. Who raised you to doubt your roar? The enemy's greatest trick wasn't making you sin. It was making you forget who you are. 2:5 David's audacity. Picture this. A teenage shepherd boy staring down a 9-foot-tall killing machine named Goliath. The entire Israeli army was shaking in their sandals. But David, he didn't ask for permission. He didn't wait for a committee vote. He picked up 5 stones and declared, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." So 1 Samuel 17:45. That's not confidence in David. That's confidence in God in David. Where's your audacity? Where's your "enough is enough" moment? The giants in your life aren't waiting for you to feel ready. They're waiting for you to remember whose you are. 3. Esther's crown. Esther 40:14 doesn't whisper, it demands. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Esther didn't stumble into the palace by accident. She was placed there by divine design. And when the moment came, she didn't say, "Maybe someone else should do it." She fasted, prayed, and marched into the king's court with one unshakable truth. If I perish, I perish. That's the kind of fire that changes history. What's your such a time as this moment? What kingdom-shaking assignment are you avoiding because you're too busy comparing yourself to others? Let's get brutally honest. Modern Christianity has turned faith into a passive spectator sport. We pray for miracles, but won't lift a finger. We sing about victory but live in defeat. Did Moses ask Pharaoh's permission to free Israel? No. He walked in with a staff and a promise. Did Joshua send a survey before marching around Jericho? No. He followed divine strategy and watched walls crumble. Faith isn't waiting for a sign. It's stepping into the storm knowing God goes before you. Here's the challenge. Stop acting like you're auditioning for your own life. You're not competing for a spot at the table. You're assigned to head the table. The world doesn't need another timid believer, whispering apologies for their faith. It needs a battalion of radical, unshakable, crown-wearing warriors who know their God and act like it. So today, right now, make a decision. Are you going to keep begging for scraps? Or are you going to rise up and claim the feast prepared for you? The choice is yours. The time is now. The world is waiting. Act as if you are the best, because in Him you already are. Warfare mentality. Your mind is the battlefield. Wake up, warrior. The battlefield isn't some distant land. It's your mind. Right now, as you read this, there's a war raging inside you, and the enemy isn't playing fair. He's not attacking the weak. He's targeting the threats. That's right. If you're feeling the weight of self-doubt, fear, or hesitation, it's because the devil sees what you're capable of. Ephesians 60:12 doesn't mince words, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Your mind is the battlefield, and every thought is either a weapon or a wound. So let me ask you, are you fighting like a soldier or surrendering like a hostage? When the enemy's playbook, the devil doesn't waste time on losers. He attacks those who threaten his kingdom. Think about it. When did David face Goliath? When he was anointed as king. When did Jesus endure temptation? Right after the Father declared, "This is my Son." The pattern is clear. The bigger your destiny, the fiercer the attack. But here's the twist. The enemy's strategy isn't to destroy you outright. It's to make you doubt. To whisper, "Who do you think you are?" To remind you of every failure, until you forget your own power. But listen closely, those thoughts aren't yours. They're planted, and it's time to uproot them. Tuve Martin Luther's stand history remembers the bold, not the timid. In 1521, at the Diet of Worms, Martin Luther faced a choice: recant his beliefs or face excommunication, and possibly death. What did he do? He stood firm and declared, "Here I stand, I can do no other." That moment didn't just change Luther's life, it changed the world. Now, let me ask you, name one person who changed history by playing small. Name one revolution sparked by someone who said, "Maybe I'm not good enough." Because greatness isn't born from hesitation, it's forged in the fire of unshakable conviction. 3. The power of as if. Faith isn't passive, it's aggressive. It's acting as if before the evidence shows up. David didn't wait for Goliath to fall before he picked up the stone. Esther didn't wait for the king's approval before she fasted and prepared. They acted as if the victory was already theirs, because in God's eyes it was. So why are you waiting for permission? Why are you begging for validation when God has already called you more than a conqueror? The world doesn't need more people who hope they're good enough. It needs people who know they are. Here's the truth. You're not fighting for victory. You're fighting from victory. The cross already decided the outcome. But the enemy wants you to forget that. He wants you stuck in a loop of self-doubt, second-guessing, and playing small. Well, today we're breaking that cycle. Today, we're declaring war on every lie that's held you back. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are a threat to darkness, a carrier of light, and a force to be reckoned with. So here's your mission: stop entertaining thoughts that don't belong in a king's mind. Stop negotiating with fear. Start speaking truth over yourself until your spirit outshouts the enemy's whispers. The battlefield is yours. The weapons are yours. The victory is yours. Now, rise up and claim it. Act as if you are the best. Because in Christ, no one is better than you. Acting versus waiting, fake it till you become it. Stop waiting for a sign. Start acting like you've already won. You've been lied to. Someone told you to sit still, pray quietly, and wait for God to drop a miracle in your lap. But here's the truth. Faith isn't a waiting room. It's a battlefield. And if you're not moving, you're losing. Mark 11:24 doesn't say, "Pray and hope for the best." It says, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Did you catch that? Believe you've already received it. Not maybe one day. Not if I'm lucky. You're called to act as if the victory is yours, before you see a single shred of evidence. Whence the myth of waiting for a sign? Who told you faith means paralysis? Who convinced you that God only moves when you're passive? Look at Peter walking on waters, Matthew 14:2-9. Jesus didn't say, "Stay in the boat until the storm passes." He said, "Come." Peter had to step out, while the waves were still raging, before the miracle happened. Meanwhile, the other disciples cowered in the boat, waiting for a sign. Tell me, which group do you resemble? The one who acted in faith or the ones who drowned in doubt? Neuroscience doesn't lie. Fake it till you become it. Your brain isn't fixed. It's moldable. Neuroplasticity proves that when you act as if you're confident, bold, and unstoppable, your brain rewires to match that reality. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you speak victory before you see it, every time you dress for the promotion you don't have yet, every time you pray with unshakable certainty, you're not faking, you're faithing. You're building neural pathways of belief so deep that doubt can't uproot them. 3 years, the disciples in the boat vs. Peter on the water. Let's break this down. The disciples had the same Jesus in the boat that Peter had on the water. The difference: Peter acted. The others waited. And while they debated the storm, Peter walked on it. Here's the question: what's your boat? What's safe? Comfortable space are you clinging to while God is calling you to step into your destiny? Stop preparing. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start occupying the space you've been called to. For a command, stop preparing. Start occupying. You don't need more sermons, more books, or more signs to move. You need to act. David didn't wait for a crown to fight Goliath. He fought like a king before he was won. Esther didn't wait for an invitation to save her people. She walked into the throne room as if she belonged there. And you're waiting for what? For someone to give you permission. For the bank account to look right. For the fear to disappear. Newsflash: courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. Final charge: act as if no one is better than you, because in Christ, no one is. You're not competing. You're not begging for scraps. You're a son, a daughter, a heir to the throne. So stop whispering prayers and start declaring decrees. Stop rehearsing your weaknesses and start proclaiming your strengths. The world doesn't need another hesitant believer. It needs a battalion of unstoppable warriors who walk like they've already won. The sign you've been waiting for. This is it. The time is now. The boat is rocking. The water is rough. And Jesus is saying, come. Will you step out or die waiting? Act as if you are the best, because the King of Kings says you are. Now move. Conclusion: charge your mountain. Conclusion: charge your mountain. Act as if you are the best. No one is better than you. Let me hit you with a truth bomb, so hard it shakes the dust off your destiny. God didn't spare his son for you to grovel. Let that sink in. The same God who split the Red Sea, who shut the mouths of lions, who raised Christ from the dead, he didn't do all that so you could crawl through life like a beggar. He crowned you. So why are you still kneeling? Whensem the parable of the talents, a scathing indictment of wasted potential, Matthew 25, Finder Fernsen 30, isn't just a story. It's a warning. A master entrusts 3 servants with talents. 2 invest, multiply, and are rewarded. The third, he buries his treasure in fear. And what does the master call him? Wicked and lazy, not harsh. Truth. God didn't give you gifts to hide them. That business idea, that book inside you, that calling burning in your bones, it's not just for you. It's for the kingdom. And if you bury it, you're not playing it safe. You're committing treason against your destiny. Tuve the war cry of heaven. Demand what's yours. You think humility means downplaying your power. Wrong. True humility is owning what God gave you and using it for his glory. When David faced Goliath, he didn't say, maybe if I'm lucky. He roared, I come against you in the name of the Lord. I won. Samuel 17:45. That's not arrogance. That's authority. And you have the same spirit in you. So why are you whispering when hell needs to hear you shout? Thrive tomorrow. The CEO of your life walks in. Here's your assignment: wake up tomorrow and dress like the CEO of your life. Not when the money comes. Not when the title arrives. Now. Because faith isn't just what you believe. It's how you carry yourself. Speak like someone heaven backs. Walk like the ground owes you respect. Pray like the answer's already on the way. You're not manifesting. You're occupying. The promised land doesn't come to you. You take it. For Joshua 1:9, your benediction of fire, I leave you with this: be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Notice God didn't say, wait until you feel brave. He said, be strong, as in, act as if you already are. Your mountain isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to charge. Final rally. The world needs your unapologetic greatness. No more excuses. No more someday. The God who called you equipped you. So act like it. Demand your destiny. Walk like you're crowned. And when doubt whispers, who do you think you are? Remind it I'm who God says I am. Now go. Charge your mountain. The kingdom's counting on you.